Sonny Boy isn't just a random anime that flew under the radar. It's an outright enigma, a wild journey into the mind of Shingo Natsumi, the dude who brought us the first season of One Punch Man. Sonny Boy, on the other hand, is quiet, weirdly introspective, and about as anti-anime as you can get, yet somehow they share that same creative DNA. But this time, Natsumi has no leash. You want monologues? You're not getting them. Exposition dumps? Nope, none of that. You're either on board for this brain-bending ride, or you're left in the dust, scratching your head like, what the hell did I just watch? Let me break it down for you. Sonny Boy is about a group of high school students who on a regular day suddenly disappear from their world, along with their entire school building, and are dropped into another dimension. Not only that, but these kids gain superpowers. Sounds cool, right? But don't get too comfy because this is Sonny Boy, so you know it's not going to be that simple. These kids aren't just thrown into your typical power-up and beat the bad guys scenario. No, they're stuck in a surreal, trippy set of worlds where even they can't make sense of the rules. And here's where Sonny Boy really flexes its unique approach. Nothing is ever fully explained. You're left to figure things out alongside the characters, and just like them, you're often more confused after an episode than you were before it started. The story structure is episodic, with time being this nebulous concept that doesn't seem to matter in these worlds. It's almost like time's gone on vacation, and no one told the students. As a result, Sonny Boy meanders in this dreamlike, almost existential haze where you never really know how much time has passed between episodes or even within the same episode, and that's part of the beauty. It feels more like an experience than a story. Let's talk about one of the biggest rules that Natsume set for himself when crafting this show. No monologues. That's right, no long-winded speeches to tell you what's happening or how the characters are feeling. Instead, Sonny Boy leans heavily on subtlety, making you pay attention to every little thing the characters do or say. For example, one of the coolest aspects of the show is how normal the dialogue feels. These kids talk like, well, kids. They're not spouting off poetic lines or delivering cool quotes like your typical shonen characters. Nah, they're just having regular conversations, which makes the moments of impact hit that much harder. You might hear a line that sounds totally mundane, but once you've peeled back the layers of what the characters are going through, that same line suddenly becomes loaded with meaning. It's the kind of storytelling that requires context, a rare thing in anime that usually thrives on the immediate payoff. To pull this off, Sonny Boy uses what Natsumi calls visual grammar. Basically, he wanted the viewer to understand what a character is going through just by watching how they act, not by listening to them spill their guts in a monologue, and it works. It forces you to engage with the show in a way that most anime don't ask you to. You have to actually watch, like, really watch, or you're going to miss out on half the story. Okay, let's talk about the art for a second. Sonny Boy has this stripped-down minimalist look that's kind of jarring at first, but it makes sense when you get into the flow of the show. The colors are bright, the shading is minimal, and everything is just super simple. At first glance, it might look like it's cutting corners, but what it's really doing is shifting the focus to the more subtle expressions and movements of the characters. This is another one of Natsumi's little tricks. He loves simplicity. He's gone on record saying that when he uses a color like blue, it's got to be solid blue. None of that gradient nonsense. It's a way of pushing the viewer's focus onto the story, rather than distracting them with flashy visuals. The art style, combined with the lack of dialogue, forces you to pay attention to the little things, like how a character looks at another, or how they move through a scene. It's this visual grammar at work again, and it's another reason why Sonny Boy feels so different from anything else out there. At its core, Sonny Boy is a story about personal growth and understanding, both of yourself and the people around you. Each of the main characters comes from a different background, and while the show doesn't spend much time on their backstories, you get a sense of who they are just by watching how they react to the situations they're thrown into. The powers each student gains are directly tied to their personalities, which isn't a new concept in anime, but Sonny Boy takes it in a more thematic direction. Rajdhani, for example, is super smart and curious, so his power lets him create computer programs in the real world. Nozomi, who's carefree and a bit of a dreamer, can see a light in the distance that guides her, a metaphor for her being the guiding light in Nagara's otherwise aimless life. And then there's Nagara, the main character, whose power I can't spoil because, well, it's a massive spoiler. But let's just say it's tied to his feelings of isolation and his struggle to find purpose in a world that doesn't make sense to him. The whole show is packed with metaphors and subtext. There's one episode where the characters play baseball with a group of monkeys, and on the surface, it's this weirdly whimsical story beat. But when you dig into it, it's actually one of the most important episodes in terms of the show's themes. It's all about the unfairness of the world and how people deal with privilege and disadvantage. Every episode of Sonny Boy has a little message hidden in it, and part of the fun is trying to figure out what the hell that message is. You might not get it on your first watch. Hell, you might not get it on your second or third watch, but that's okay. Sonny Boy is one of those shows that rewards patience and a willingness to dive into the weirdness head first. Here's the thing about Sonny Boy. It doesn't care if you get it or not. It's not trying to be the next big hit, and it's definitely not catering to the masses. It's one of those rare anime that just is. It exists in its own little world, and it's totally okay with that. But that's also why it sticks with you. Even if you don't fully understand everything that happens, there's something about the vibe of the show that lingers. Maybe it's the minimalist art style, or maybe it's the way the characters feel so real and relatable, despite being in the most surreal situation imaginable. Or maybe it's the fact that, at its heart, Sonny Boy is a story about being lost, something that we've all felt at one point or another. It's about trying to find your way in a world that doesn't always make sense, and sometimes, that's all you need to connect with a story. Look, Sonny Boy isn't for everyone. If you're the kind of anime fan who loves fast-paced action and clear-cut explanations, this isn't going to be your jam. But if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone and dive into something that's a bit more challenging, Sonny Boy is worth your time. It's one of those shows that might leave you confused, but it'll also leave you thinking. And in a sea of anime that all feel like they're trying to do the same thing, Sonny Boy stands out by doing the complete opposite. So give it a shot. You might not love it right away, but who knows? You might end up like me, rewatching it a few times and finding something new to appreciate each time. After all, that's what makes Sonny Boy so beautiful. It doesn't give you all the answers, but it makes you want to keep searching for them anyway.